everyone, it's Michelle from Weekend Craft here, and today I am so excited because I'm showing you guys my latest machine for the studio. So I've been wanting to get into DTF printing for a long time, and I got my hands on the Procolored L1800 DTF printer. Now, you might be wondering, what is a DTF printer? And I'm here to tell you. So, DTF means direct to film. So, instead of using iron on vinyl or sublimation, you are actually printing directly on an opaque film. Now, this opens up all possibilities because we know with sublimation, we have to, use it on a polyester surface. Iron on vinyl, to get multiple colors, you have to layer. So this is actually printing out your design. So you print on a film like this. So it's Halloween time here. So this is a ghost design that I made in Canva. And I went ahead, printed it out on the machine. I then cured it in my oven back here with the DTF powder on the back of it. And that's when it's going to make it adhere to your substrate. So I'm going to show you in this video how to set up this machine. We're going to press some designs on linen bags here. And then also what I'm most excited about, some t-shirts. So I'm going to show you how to set it up, how to do your first transfers, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to give my initial thoughts on the machine, and then I'm going to bring you through some pros and cons of this machine. Now, to caveat before we jump all into this, if you're thinking about getting into a DTF printer, I do just want to say that this is beyond a hobby because of just the costs of the machines. Now, if you are looking to take your crafting hobby to the next level and start a small business, whether it is a t-shirt business or on Etsy, you want to sell DTF transfers to other crafters, this is a great opportunity for someone looking to get into that. Now, I will say that Procolored did send me this printer and the oven back here, but in no way is this sponsored. It was just gifted so I could do a review. So all thoughts and opinions are my own, and I'm excited to jump into this. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's set up this printer. Let me show you how this works. Now, the first thing I want to note here is that this comes in a very well packaged crate. Now, I will say this crate is very heavy. I think it was about 100 pounds, so it's definitely a two-person job. You can see here I'm lifting out the oven and the film along with a kit of parts here. And I'm just making room for everything, and here is the actual printer. So I was really impressed with the packaging. It was very heavy. It was 2 people to get it up to my studio and only 1 person to get it out of the crate. So everything is shrink wrapped very well. So we're going to get started with putting this together. You're going to find 4 screws on top. You're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver and you're going to remove those screws. And then we're adding in these 2 metal roll holders. You're going to want to pay attention to which way it is facing because you're going to want to put the roller feeder on top of this. So once you have those screwed in, we're going to add the bar in, make sure it turns, see if it needs any adjusting, and then we're going to put this bar through our film. We're going to add these holders to the side, and you're going to use your screwdriver to loosen and tighten them to get the roll on. So once we get it in place, we're going to tighten those screws again. And we are going to place this on to the roll holder once it is set in there. We're going to slide in our front tray, And then we're going to remove the tape on the trimmer. Now this is a good time to open up the printer, make sure that you remove any tags inside. Now next we're going to hook this up to power and we're going to connect it to our PC. Now it's very important that you note that this printer needs to be run on a PC with a Windows running. Now this takes a USB cord. You may need an adapter if you only have a USB-C. This also comes with a dongle that is basically a USB drive that needs to be connected to your computer in order to run the software. Procolored included a USB drive in your kit that has the software on it, so you're going to want to get that running, and then we're going to turn on our printer. Next, we're going to load in our film. So I'm putting it right down into the feeder here, and then I am going to press the arrow button on the side, and I'm trimming off this front piece that has a little bit of tape residue on it. Now it's time to fill our printer with DTF ink. So we're going to shake it up a bit and remove the seal. And we're going to fill up each corresponding ink with the color. So this is the cyan, so we're just pouring this in. Now you'll see I'm wearing gloves here just to protect my hands. And we're going to repeat this on every single color. So C is for cyan, M is for magenta, K is for black, Y is for yellow, W is for white. So we're just going to repeat this process here. And I suggest having like, I don't know, a mat or piece of glass to put your ink down on so you don't get it on your work surface. Next, we're going to add our drip tray in. So this is just a metal piece that we're putting right here in this hole, and we have basically a piece of paper that catches the excess ink. So we have our syringe here, and we have enough tops for each color of ink. So you're going to remove the cartridge, place the syringe into the top of it, and then you're going to pull out about 5 to 10 millimeters, and this will bring your ink to fill up that cartridge. Now we're going to repeat this process, replacing the tip on each time for each color, because we do not want to contaminate any of the inks with an additional color. So now we're on to red, so we'll do this for every single one. So now that we're finishing this up, we are going to close the top, and we have our ink waste in the back here. So we're going to remove this, and we're going to do a similar process. So I took out the tube there, and then we're just going to pull back with our syringe so that excess ink starts to feed into the ink removal in the back of our printer. And we're just going to put it back in to this container and place it right back there. Now we're going to want to do a print head cleaning. So we long pressed that ink button, and this is going to take about 2 minutes to run through. And once we have that run through, we're going to do a nozzle test in the Procolored software. Once you're in the software, we're clicking on these double arrows on the top right, and then we're right-clicking and selecting printer preference. Now we're going to select maintenance, and then we're going to select nozzle check. Now this will print out our sheet. So you're going to select print. This is going to print out your test sheet so you can make sure that all of your lines are connected with no spaces. If they do have spaces in them, then we are going to run this in cleaning mode. I'm using the arrow on the side here to have it feed out, and I'm making it tight and using the trimmer. Now let's look at these lines. They all appear to be connected. It helps if you look at it on a darker surface. And since it's connected, we're going to go ahead and add our image to our software. So we're selecting this image button, and then I am going to select the image. I'm using a transparent PNG that I made from Canva, and I'm putting it onto my artboard here, and then I'm going to resize it for my t-shirt design. Now once I get that the size that I am liking, I am going to go ahead and send this to the printer. And how we do that is we're going to select this rip button at the top. And then we are going to select print. And you'll see it start to process. And we have our first print printing out here. Now this does take a couple minutes. This video is sped up. Now once this is printed, we're going to trim it, and then we are going to add DTF powder to the back. Now I do let this rest for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I place it into like a Rubbermaid container. And I do choose to wear a mask when I do this, and I have an air purifier running in my studio. So I pour the DTF powder on top of the film. You'll notice it's color side down. So this is the back of your transfer, and we're covering the entire back with this powder. Now this powder can be reused. That's why I do it in this Rubbermaid. And we are going to put a cover on this. And next we are going to use our oven here. Now, technically you can use a heat press, but I did want the oven because it does have the ventilation on it. And it just is a little bit easier than using a heat press. So I did get the bundle with the oven. And we're turning it on in the back. You can see we have a 110 volts or 220 volt. If you're in the US, you're going to want to put it on the 110 volt. And then you'll see here it also has an air filter system built in as well. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to turn this on. And you're going to want to put it on 120 degrees Celsius. You can do Fahrenheit, but it comes in Celsius, so I just left it on that. And then for the timer, I am putting it on 180 seconds. And we're going to go ahead and let this heat up. Once it comes to temperature, we're going to open it up and we're going to put the colored side down of our transfer in the oven and press the start button. It'll beep once it's done. And then we're going to open it up and we're going to remove it with this little like squeegee remover that it has on the side. Basically, it's a suction cup. You squeeze it and it allows you to pick up the film without touching that hot oven. Now we're ready to press our design onto our substrate. So you'll see the DTF powder says 302 degrees to 330 something. So I'm doing 320 degrees for 30 seconds here. So I'm adding my shirt to my heat press. I like to use a manual heat press and not an auto press just so I can get a good pressure on it. And I do a 5-second preheat. And then I go ahead and add my transfer onto the shirt and use heat resistant tape in a Teflon sheet. And then we're doing this on a high pressure for 320 degrees for 30 seconds. Now you're supposed to do a cool peel with this DTF transfer. So we are letting it cool and then we are peeling it back. Now I went ahead and did a smaller design on this little linen treat bag that I'm giving someone for Halloween. And look how cute this came out. This is so professional. So professional. I'm so impressed with it. It feels like you could have bought it in the store. So let's take a look at this transfer film. You'll see that everything came off of it and went directly smooth on to that canvas bag. Okay, so if you have made it this far, you saw how we set up the Procolored L1800 DTF printer. That is a mouthful. Now, I'm going to tell you guys my initial impressions on this machine, some pros, some cons, and tell you whether I like it or not, and whether I think this machine is for you. So, my initial thoughts. I was very intimidated by the thought of setting this up. So that big crate came. It was delivered to my house because that's where I wanted it. And then I had to bring it up to the studio here. That was very heavy. It took 2 of us to get it up here. And then I went on vacation and I didn't want to set it up before vacation because of the inks. And once I got back, I have to admit, I was intimidated by it. So I will say, I hope this video helps get you through that intimidation because it was actually pretty easy to set up. It was very similar to how I set up one of my sublimation machines. It was actually a lot easier than that when I was converting one. So it is a lot more intimidating than it seems when you get that box. So I hope I take all of kind of that guesswork out of it and you can just open yours up and set it up. Now, I think that it is very easy to do, to clean the nozzles on here, to run the checks and everything to make sure that it is printing right. I have been using this for over a week now. I've made 3 or 4 shirts, 2 tote bags, and I even did a transfer on a linen notebook. So, that being said, this is a very easy machine to use. And the one thing I do want to say about this is that if you are looking to get this machine, you must have a PC that runs Windows. So I'm not talking about a Chromebook, anything like that. It has to be a PC that runs Windows. So for me, that was a little bit of a con. I'm mostly a Mac user, but I did have a PC laptop on hand that I am now using as a dedicated computer for this DTF machine. So I'm going to have it permanently live next to it. The software does require a dongle, which is this USB drive here. For me, I'm just going to leave that into the machine so I don't lose it. The other thing, so I had mentioned before that this machine almost goes beyond the hobbyist and into a small business owner, because this machine needs to be run at least every 3 days. So every 3 days you need to print something out just to keep it from clogging and keeping the inks flowing through. Now, if you're going on vacation or you can't run it every 3 days, you may want to look into getting some nozzle protection fluid. I have not used this yet, but when I do, I'm planning on doing a video on it, and it will help sort of clean the print heads if you've left it unused for a little bit, if you go on vacation or whatnot. Now, the whole entire process with the heater and the DTF powder, it was way easier than I thought it was going to be. But that being said, I'm taking some extra precautions in my studios. When I use the DTF powder, I'm always wearing some sort of mask just because there could be some microplastics and such in the powder. I also have an air purifier going on in my studio. I'll link which one I have below, and I always run that when I'm doing any sort of DTF transfers or sublimation in here, just to keep the airflow going. And then I always have my windows open, so we're keeping it very well ventilated in here. So that is something to definitely keep in mind if you're using any sort of DTF powder. So that being said, I really like this machine. This was my first experience with a DTF printer. I have used DTF transfers before, and now I really feel like I have the confidence that I can use this machine and potentially make another small business out of it. I'm never one to not have an additional side hustle going on. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about this machine, comment below. I will put the link for the machine below. Also, if I have a current discount code for this machine, you'll be able to see it below. And yeah, if you like this video, if you liked how I taught you how to set this up, I have plenty of other videos, so go ahead and smash that subscribe button and you'll find laser cutting videos, Cricut, sublimation, or just general craft videos. I try to put out a couple of videos a month, and yeah, we have new machines coming into the studio all the time if you want to learn about them. So this was so much fun. I can't wait to show you guys when I do a little bit more with this machine and do a more thorough review once I've been using it consistently for a few weeks or months. Anyway, I will see you guys on the next video. Happy crafting.